Come down, get your hair cut. Let's go. I really appreciate that tour you just gave me from, just the history of the store next door, Walters, and the art on the wall, and then just also the history of you, how you got here into this point in your life. But
that's a fact.
One thing that I've noticed about you since I've started following you, and again, I've known you since I was a kid, is that you always had this energetic presence about yourself, this ability to communicate with people that resonated amongst every type of person, amongst white people, amongst black people. You were a very, very popular person. So with me saying that, barber, obviously, I'm not trying to down the profession, but I can also look at you and see that maybe you didn't always want to be a barber. So I want to know a little bit about you and how you got to this point of being a barber, and maybe what did you want to be instead of a barber?
First of all, thank you.
No problem, man.
And,
no problem.
you got me all choked up. No, for real. You got me choked up.
That's my job.
You're very good at it. And you're very good at it. I wanted to be the policia. I wanted to be the police when I was little. When I was a kid, I did. I wanted to be a cop. I wanted to be a fireman. I was little, like little boy. And just something in uniform as a kid was cool to me because of growing up in Hackensack and the black and Hispanic officers that I saw that were on the right side of the law. You know what I'm saying? And it was very influential to me. Very, very. It really set a path so much. Like that's why I would write about little essays as a kid, little grade school stuff about being a cop or a firefighter.
Most definitely. That's crazy that you say that though, because I can remember being a kid and being in Fairmount School, and the first thing that I could think about being was a cop. I don't know why, but it's something about cops that you look up to as a kid. They're almost the closest thing to a Spider-Man or a Superman, so they look very cool. But now you transform to 2020, we're about to be in 2020, and being a cop is like, you don't want to be a cop. It's like, I feel like it's the worst type of job to have aesthetically. So people look at a cop as a person that's gonna reprimand you or kill you, as a black man. So it's hard to even look at that. For me, right now, it's hard to look at it as a good profession. So I say that. Is there anything else that you wanted to be other than a cop?
Always wanted to be an artist. Art was always in my life, very early, often. As a real professional, for my, let's say, 15, 16, was sports.
Okay. What sport?
Football and basketball, sir.
You were nice though?
Football, what? Come on.
Who are your coaches? Who are your coaches in Little League and
Who saved my life? I had many great coaches, but who saved my life is Scoot Whiting.
Okay. That was my head coach.
Yeah.
Senior year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Coach saved my life. His brother was one of my first influencers. His brother literally was the guy who was like, yo, I got Weirdo. Yo, I got my man. I got him. We would just be playing pickup games and put confidence over me. He would pick me over the kids who I knew were better than me.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? Like he was that kind of person who instilled confidence in a kid. So because of that, him and his brother, Coach Whiting and Kurt, inspired me to look towards sports to get that confirmation I'm doing something right. I'm putting hard work in. And to utilize the good morals of your life. Playing sports, you gotta go to practice, dedication, you know what I'm saying? Brotherhood. So the things you learn in sports help save my life.
And just like you said, I got choked up with you saying that too, because Coach Whiting, Coach Scoot, was not only my head coach, but he was the first dean of students I ever had. And this is in elementary school, especially at a time where there weren't that many black men in education. So he was my first dean of students and followed me up until high school. And I truly believe that brother, along with his wife, they deserve like a lifetime achievement award. They're still young in their career, but the impact that they've had on hundreds, maybe even thousands of kids that's going through the system.
That's right.
So it's like amazing that you have that story too. But you know what? I'm glad you're talking about black influential figures in this community because he's a great father as well. His son is coming up in the high school system too, good in football. upstanding young man. But if you look across Hackensack and Bergen County, I think maybe there might be a gap between the black figures and their connection with the youth. So I remember people like that.
Yeah.
But I feel like there needs to be more.
Well,
So who
with
was
him-
influential other than that? Did you have a father in your life, or was he more so?
Well, no, I didn't. My father wasn't in my life. But just to bounce off with Coach Whiting, he even brought me to Englewood, where my barber career started.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it started in Hackensack, like I was telling you with my man Wu. But him bringing me to Englewood in high school to play football, I was getting in trouble in Hackensack. A lot of my peers were in the stereotypical rap song, you know? And he said, listen, you're gonna get in trouble. You gotta come with me. I got a job in Englewood. He brought me to Englewood with him. And with that father thing, that was the first true fatherly, uncle-ish thing I had that was like, I know what's going on with your friends. I got a new job. You need to come with me.
Wow.
That's why I say he saved my life. So no, I did not have a father in my life.
Wow.
I did. I took from the people of my environment, from the wino on the corner, because you know the truth. The drugless person talks the truth.
Man.
To my coach, teachers. You know what I'm saying? A lot of coaches is who I replaced as my father.
Right. So here's the dynamic, and that's why I seriously wanted to talk to you, because yes, I had other black influential figures in my life, but I also had a father as well. So I feel like in a way, not that I was more privileged, but that I was getting the best of both worlds. So not only did I have great black figures to look up in the community, but also had my father. So do you think not having a father, even though you had these great positive figures in your life, did you think that affected you in any way? And if so, how?
The trauma with that is immense, because my mother was such, if you will, the mother of Mary. You know what I'm saying? Like Mary and Jesus, right? So I looked at my mom in that manner. So it was kind of, my father was like, I'm okay, I don't need a dad. My mom's so dope, I'm good. My mom's so good.
Right.
But in reality, I did.
Yeah.
You know, I did, because there was some things she couldn't teach me no matter what, right? She taught me how to be a man in the image of her brothers, her father, and different men she admired. Having a dad in your life is very important, or having that man that plays the dad in your life. That knows everything about you, that's diligent on you, that's pushing you, that's showing you the man you have to go to be. Not who you want to, who you have to go to be to survive in the world. So I used to front like it didn't bother me, truly until I had my firstborn son.
Same here. And not that my father wasn't there, but my parents got divorced at not a young age, but I was like 7 or 8 years old when my parents got divorced. So I saw my mother take that leadership role, because my father, he took some time to step away, but he ended up coming back and doing his thing. But even that gap in between where I didn't have my dad for whatever couple months it might have been, that's still, I could still remember that. I could still remember him not being there and the void that had to be filled. And then even so, the dynamic of not having my dad in the same household as me really affected me at school, made me angry. You know, I had to go to anger management and stuff like that, and didn't understand truly what it meant to not have a dad in the home. But that leads me into the next segment of which I want to get into, is us being fathers. I'm a father in the community. So how do you use what you didn't have in order to pour knowledge and empowerment and everything that you didn't have into your son? How do you use that in parenting now?
Well, again, that's taking from these coaches that were influencing my life, taking from people I know that are good fathers. My man that owns the shop, my man Johnny, he has a great relationship with his father. I follow his blueprint, him as a father, and the stories he tells me that he's been through with his dad. You know what I'm saying?
So how many kids you got?
Me too.
Two boys.
2 boys, and I raised a 21-year-old. And I say it with all that description because me and his mother didn't work out the way I would like. And with her side of things, she finally got through to brainwashing him in his ways.
Wow.
and he kind of, in a little way, denounced me.
Whoa.
Of his dad. And
You saying you wasn't really your son?
He's not my son.
Okay.
My 21-year-old is not my
blood
son.
Okay.
He's not my son.
But you were with
he's
him.
He's my 13-year-old's brother.
Okay.
Who I met his mother. He was a little boy, and I got with her and I raised him. But as we didn't work out, what made her mad is I stayed with him.
Right.
So me and her wasn't together, but I still started Father Knows Best.
So you know what, man? So now we're getting into something deeper, and I don't know your comfortability on this, but what do young men do? Like, cause I think about that. I'm a single father too. I'm not in a relationship with the mother of my son. So how do we handle that? Because we have so much of that going on in the world, and it's such a tough situation. So how we can have a dialogue about, how do we make sure that young men that are getting into these situations where we're not with the mother of our kids, how do we make sure that these relationships are still maybe even more as cohesive as it would be if we were together? Because I think that's still a dynamic in our community that needs to be mended and needs to be challenged a little bit more and needs to be focused on a little bit more.
I think it's just it's the right thing to do, of course, honestly, to be with your child. My particular situation, my first child that I really feel that was mine, that was not my son, helped me become a better man. So the more that I put into him, and I saw me and his mother breaking apart, it made me more of a man because I started a youth foundation, Father Knows Best, through Playtime Basketball, AAU.
Okay.
Right? The same way the coaches raised me, and I did not have a father, the same way these older men helped raise me to raise this boy who's not mine, biologically.
Wow.
Because if you feed them long enough,
they become yours.
They look like
you. They never
you.
go away.
And they, trust me, right? So that right there is maybe an answer to a lot of things, because it's that me saying this little boy loved me, I depend on him to help me become a stronger man. Because the situations I put him, I coached him in the right situations. So I was able to see life situations. You know what I'm saying?
And I hate to cut you off, but you're just making so many good points. And maybe a point just now that's gonna go over people's heads is when I asked him, what can we do to mend the relationships between mother and father? He didn't put it on the mother, he didn't put it on the father, he put it on ourselves, saying, listen, it's up to you to create that bond and between you and your son or your daughter. It's the mother has a lot to do with it, but you have to find it in yourself personally and hold yourself accountable as a dad. So he could have come in, women gotta, or she gotta, or he gotta, but no, he's like, I have to.
If my first child that I raised, I feel that wasn't my biological child, and I sought after him when me and her didn't work out, that's put on yourself already. Because I know I gotta finish the job now.
Right.
I did all this thing with him. He's helping me grow. I'm meeting different brothers, different fathers that's helping me grow. I'm still pulling the same way when I didn't have a dad, of taking the blueprints, right? Oh, this is how you do it? Okay, this is how you do it. So boom, then I have my son. I have my son, Little Justice.
And I find that amazing because even just like my dad never met his father, but some way he found a way to be a great father. So I always find it fascinating when men who've never had a dad before, still know how to be a good dad to their kids.
Yeah.
And usually what you hear is because I may not had a physical father, but I had other men, or even my mother. But even my mother built me up to be somebody great. You get what I'm saying? So there's so many different dynamics that we have in order for us to become great parents, man.
But it's like you said, it has to be what you want.
Most definitely.
Because if I didn't do those things with this young man, when my first biological son came along, I would not have no reference to adversity. So with that same reference to adversity, you have to take and put the things upon yourself. You know what I'm saying? Say, look at the things that's in front of you, understand what you can do and how what you can do and what you do affects others. And once you're aware of that, your own superpowers, if you will, you want to do greater. You want to do better.
Most definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Most definitely.
And that's just how I looked at it. So when I had my firstborn son, that effort went to that. A lot of me being in the wilderness of not knowing what to do. Oh, she doing this. Oh man, she be bugging. It's her. Like you said, you put it all on them. Put it on yourself. Be accountable for your own actions.
What can you control at the end of the day?
Yourself.
And I think exactly.
And
that's
yourself.
And that's all. Once you're able to control your emotions about it, because just to be real, and we being real with everybody here, it's not easy dealing with having to see your son grow up without you in a different household. That's not an easy thing.
That's an actual fact.
And honestly, me being a dad, I haven't been a dad for long, dad for 2 years, but I can see why it's tough for some men to stay around, and I can see why some jet, because you do have to make a commitment, a selfless commitment to be a father, man. You have to. You got to be you have to make that selfless commitment that no matter what's going on, I'm a dad at the end of the day.
That's a fact.
And everything I do from here on in affects the bottom line, which is my child.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So once you alleviate yourself of having to, she's doing this, she's with him, or she's with that person, or oh man, she keeps no. You control your emotions, and you move past the situation to a point where it's just you and your kid, and that's it, man.
But it's not easy.
It's not.
It's not easy.
It's not. I'm telling you.
It's not. It's like, it sounds real good. We can sit here and we can philosophize it, and it sounds great, you know. We could put it in the meme, but to go through it, to feel like you didn't do your job as a man, right? This is coming from narcissistic gunshots, right? So the narcissistic person is usually is the other person in a relationship, or it could be yourself.
Most definitely.
Upon further review of the play, it may be yourself.
Right.
But when you're getting shot with the narcissistic gunfire, you start to question yourself as a man. So now it's like, damn, I done lost the relationship. I done lost the family. Oh, woe is me.
Exactly. That's some tough shit to deal with, though. Everybody.
Get out of here. You gotta review yourself, further review the play, and understand, okay, there was just some things I didn't understand, or I was too immature, or I didn't get yet. But that's not necessarily my fault of that person's insecurities or their bad manners. I don't know.
Right. And we could talk for days about this, man. But one thing I do want to stress, and you could actually combat me on this if you want to. I totally think if you are not with the mother of your child, it becomes finance, bro. And if you don't handle that financial part, then there's gonna be issues.
Fact.
And it's gonna be issues. So me,
fact.
and I might get a lot of flack for this, but I'm actually a supporter of child support. Maybe not. Maybe there needs to be some regime change, obviously across the system. But I am in support of it because that's what you're supposed to do as a father. And when you're not with the mother, that dynamic's different. So you have to be able to be financially responsible and also physically responsible for your kid.
Give me your take of how you see that, as they say.
Like, what do you mean?
Men should be on child support.
So I think if you were with the mother of your child, right? We're having children out of wedlock, number one, right? When you get married, right, that's an agreement between you two. And you're able to have a child, right? You have that child and you have to support that child, but it's a combined thing, right? But when you don't have that dynamic of the marriage in place, or even at the very little, the relationship in place, all of that stuff becomes more complicated to do. You don't have to schedule any time to see your child when you're with them, when you're with the mother. You don't have to schedule weekends or saying, hey, I'm gonna have them this time. So because of that, because the inconvenience of having to be a single father or a single mother means time equals money. So the only way to really alleviate any issue as far as being a single father, the first step is always eliminating that financial issue. Once you eliminate that financial issue, sky's the limit. That's how I think, though. I could be wrong, but that's my thinking and my personal view of it.
When we first talked, you were anticipating that I didn't see that view, and I didn't. But when we talked again, and you said something a little similar to what you said, not as elaborate, I, again, further review of the play. And it makes 100% sense. If you look at marriage as a business from an angle, right? If you look at it from an angle, marriage is a business. Your most important investment is this child, right? Because that starts the concept of generational wealth. That we have, husband and wife have the business, whatever y'all do, whatever you do,
right.
And we're gonna pass this monies down to our child. Even better, we're gonna pass this business of whatever we do to this child. So when that's broken up, of y'all got a house, y'all put in, husband and wife put in to get a house, or condo, wherever you live at. That's broken up. That's one of the first problems, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, I gotta pay this rent by myself. On either side,
right?
On either side, man or female, husband or wife, and now we gotta still pay our new rent, and we gotta help with we left. As men, I think you always leave the woman in the house. That's something that's brought to me that's in the Quran, right? Mm-hmm. Always leave the woman and children in the house. I'm out. Here you go, and make sure you can take care of them. If you're gonna leave them, make sure you can take care of them, and I'm out.
And exactly. And as a father, I believe we always have to take care of our kids. But and I see you in the community doing your thing as far as being a father and promoting that. So I want the shift. We got kind of intense there. I want to know. Do you want your son to be a father? Would you want him to be a barber, or what do you want your son to be? Seeing him growing up in his life, what do you look at him like? Or your sons? What do you want them to be? Do you want them to be barbers, or would you allow them to go down that path and make it a profession?
Let me downshift this. You got me up in the. You got me all revved up, Jack. I'm ready to get up there, but let me downshift. I used to say no. Mm-hmm. I used to say, I don't want them to be a barber. You want to be better. But then, as I grew with this, not just skills-wise, culturally-wise, I see how important it is. Yes, I want them to at least know how to cut hair, because that's some of the upper hand I think I'll be able to give them. Mm-hmm. That they can cut hair.
Right.
I don't think they ever really invent a robot that can cut hair.
Well, it's just good to teach kids
trades
anyway.
You know what I mean?
Haircut is a trade. They learn it young. They'll have it forever.
If you don't want to be a barber, cool, but you can make a couple bucks for yourself.
Like in college, my younger brother, he goes to Fairleigh Dickinson up in Madison, and he plays on the football team, but he makes hundreds of dollars just by trimming people up. Because
classic example.
You get what I'm saying? Because he just does that. Mm-hmm. And I asked that question because I think about me being a father, and I could honestly say that I don't know what I want my kid to be. Like when I was young, I feel like a lot of the parents push their kids into sports and whatnot. I don't even know. I know he's gonna be smart. I know he's gonna be educated, and I know I want to build something for where you can do whatever you want. You can mess up and fail 100 times, but I'm gonna still be able to be there for you. Mm-hmm. So, Ak, you know what, man? I really appreciate you, letting you opening up your spot to me, because,
this is
what we're supposed to do.
Just coming in here is again another tribute to like we talk about fathers. Another tribute to my man Johnny K, who's helped me help myself.
Johnny, we gotta really do this, and we gotta sit down.
Meeting someone like that is what changes your life. Not someone who do for you or look out. Someone who helps you help yourself. Again, that you can give to your kids.
Most definitely.
And I think that's the big picture that we're showing here. Have something to give to our children, for them to grow and be able to take it and decide what they want to do. As long as we give them the tools and the opportunity, sky's the limit. Mm-hmm. It's not just a Biggie song.
Most definitely. And this is the Urban Bergen Black Barbers series. I got my man Ak Newman.
You know
what? That's what he likes. You know what? Yo, tell them exactly where to find you, where we're at right now, and how they can continue to hear the message that you're spreading to the community of Bergen County.
You can find me on Ak Newman on Instagram, Ak Newman, Facebook, Akbar Anderson. I'm here in the magnificent, glorious house that Cake built, the shop, 13 West Hudson Avenue, Englewood, New Jersey. One of the greatest barbershops in existence of life. And that's about it, man. I'm honored to be here with you, brother. I thank you. You know, I'm gonna age myself. I used to cut his hair. Okay, I used to cut his hair years
Back
ago.
in the day, all my
years
brothers,
ago.
all three of us, we
I
used to
used
sit
to
down.
cut his hair.
Yo, we used to sit down, all three of us used to cut all three of our hair, man.
Yeah,
So
man.
I appreciate that. And you know what?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Hold on. It's a little more just. You know what? That good? Oh,
You know what? Do it.
You know what?
You know what?
All right, we'll bring it back. I need to drink some agua. I need some refreshing.
You know what? Matter of fact, give him a you know what and just tell him anything that's on your mind right now, because that's what he does. He gets on his Instagram and just does whatever. So, you know, give him a piece of exactly what you do. Let's go.
It's just about putting life together and putting the pieces together and growing. Reference to adversity and always understanding the truth is in the joke. Like that's my muse of comedians. Like my top 5 of comedians always tell you the truth was in the joke. So when you look at things at life, you have to laugh at it.
Most
you know
definitely.
What I'm saying? A great man once said, we cry at birth, we laugh at death. The Locks.
Yeah.
I think they said that. Something like that.
Why
You
we
get what I'm
don't
saying?
laugh at death but cry at birth? You told something.
And that's a fact, Jack. So,
man.
I'm here with my man. Thank you for having me. You already know.
We out. Thank you guys.
That's
Peace.
what it is.